Hello BookTube, Sarah here, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm coming to you with my Harlequin anticipated reads for January of 2020. I know, yay! So, we finished the 40 Years of Harlequin project last year. Well, it's still 2019 as you guys are viewing this, but you know what I mean. With my December anticipated reads that came out back in November, would have been the last book that I had you guys pick for my Harlequin, 40 Years of Harlequin project. But I have another project, another challenge that I'm personally challenging myself to in 2020. And that I had the video go up on Tuesday. Originally I was going to flip these and have this video go up first on Tuesday and then my challenges video go up on Thursday. But I decided to switch them just to make it easier because you would get the explanation of what I'm going to be doing and then you're going to see this video. So, the challenge that I'm doing in 2020 in regards to the Harlequin imprints is the Harlequin Book Shout Challenge. It is a personal challenge that I am doing myself. I'm inviting any of you who have Book Shout, who buy books from Harlequin on their website and use the Book Shout app to definitely join in with me. So, essentially what I still want you guys to do is to pick me a book. Because part of that challenge, that Book Shout Challenge, is to read through the massive amount of Harlequin books that I have on that app, that I have bought over the years from the Harlequin website. But I do have a lot of points that I have accumulated and will continue to accumulate as I continue to buy Harlequin titles. So I want you guys to pick me one book a month, and I am going to fit that in and make that one of my reads for the month. Essentially the way this is going to work is that I will be reading 5 of these books every month, so 4 of them will be from my backlist, from the Book Shout backlist, and 1 will be the new one that you guys pick for me. So, listen to all the books I'm going to talk about, and just like I've had you guys, or asked you guys to do for me over the last year, pick your favorite, let me know below. I will be reading it, like this one will be read in January, so if you guys want to follow along and read with me, that would be super awesome as well. So, let's jump in and get started. So the first book I want to talk about is, of course, a desire novel, and this is Vegas Vows, Texas Nights by the great Charlene Sands. This is book number 3 in the Boone Brothers of Texas series. This is essentially a what happens in Vegas doesn't necessarily stay in Vegas kind of a story, where this woman wakes up after kind of a rowdy night in Vegas to find that she is now married. But not only is she married, she is now married to her sister's ex-fiance. I'm like, and scandal ensued. This one sounds so soap opera, so much fun. I think that this one will be really delightful. So of course they're going to have to try and figure out how to work the marriage and all those kind of things. But again, you know, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, not always. This one sounds delightful, and I think I would really enjoy reading it. Next up is a heartwarming novel, and this is A Bridesmaid to Remember by Amy Vastine. This is book, I believe it's book number 4 in the Stop the Wedding series. When I looked this series up on Fiction Database, the first 3 books in the series were from the Harlequin Blaze line, which is very different from the Harlequin, the Heartwarming line, because the Blaze line was very adult. I really loved it. I miss that imprint so much. I say it every time. But the Heartwarming line are clean, sweet romances, no adult content. So I don't know whether they're just, it's a new series. I'm guessing. It's either book 1 or book 4 in this series. I don't think it's one of those that you have to read in order. I think they just all have to deal with weddings. So, in this story, our main character Bonnie is a bridesmaid. And what does it say here? It was the perfect wedding until the groom spontaneously announces that he's in love with a bridesmaid. So the whole town, like, you know, he kind of stands up and he's like, you know, I don't want to marry you because I love her. So now the whole town is like ostracizing this poor woman, this bridesmaid, thinking that she did something, but she didn't do anything. She didn't know that he was going to do this. And the only person who is sticking behind her or sticking with her during this entire thing is actually the bride's brother. So the two of them are going to start a relationship. It sounds adorably sweet. I really think I'd like this one. I kind of really love the concept of it, that, you know, the woman who was scorned, her brother is the one who's going to stand up for this woman. And I'd really love to find out what's going on behind the scenes. Why would the groom say such a thing? Sounds delightful. I would definitely like to read this one. Next up, of course, a Harlequin historical, and this is Mr. Fairclough's Inherited Bride by Georgie Lee. I do love this author so much. Book number 3 in the Secrets of a Victorian Household series. I am loving this series so much. These are not your typical Regencies. These are Victorian era historicals, and I love it. I am here for it. So this is about a man by the name of Silas who's living in America, and he gets a letter from his mentor who is dying, and this mentor's dying wish was for him to marry the mentor's ward, this woman. So he ends up marrying this woman, and it's just going to be a very practical kind of marriage. You know, it's maybe even a marriage just on paper. I'm not exactly sure. But then he gets a letter from his family back in England, and they want him to return to England. So of course he brings his bride with him, but she's got secrets that she's keeping, and the reasons that she's in America is because she left behind scandal back in England. And the story will go from there. Delightful. Again, Victorian era. I love the Victorian era. I do love the Regency, but I just love the if I had to pick, the Victorian era would probably be the more favorite of mine, I guess. But yeah, this one sounds delightful and definitely one that I need to check out. Next, we have a intrigue novel, and this is Tactical Force by Elle James. Again, favorite author of mine, love her work. Book number 5 in the Declan Defenders series. The reason this one jumped out at me above all the others that are coming out in January for the intrigue line is because in this one there is a plot to assassinate the president. I'm not going to comment at all on the U.S. political climate currently, but that's a bold move by the author. Now, obviously, it's going to be a fake president, you know, like they often do in movies and TV shows and things like that. But still, knowing the current political climate in the U.S., I feel that's a bold move. And I'm intrigued. And I love saying that when I talk about the intrigue novels. I'm intrigued. But this one does sound interesting. And it's about a man, I think he's FBI, who is also having to keep this woman safe because she's being threatened. And it takes place in Washington, D.C., so it's very political, you know, with a terrorist organization and this assassination plot and all these other things kind of going on. That I feel that this is the kind of book that if you are into like the political kind of thrillers, this would definitely be in your wheelhouse. But I am definitely interested in reading this one because I love Elle James's writing, and I think this one will be fantastic. Next up, we have a Harlequin medical romance novel, and this is The Firefighters' Unexpected Fling by Suzanne Carlisle. This is book number 1 in the First Responders series. I do enjoy, as you guys know if you've been watching me for a while, I am fairly new to the medical romance line. Medical has never been sexy to me, to put it that way. As someone who's spent a lot of time in hospital, it's not sexy. Although I have to admit, I've seen my fair share of paramedics, and yeah. But anyway, this one, so like I said, these are kind of new to me, but this one really jumped out at me because it is about first responders. It's about paramedics and firefighters and those people who are first on scene. You know, it doesn't necessarily take place in that hospital environment, but more outside. So it's about a man who's kind of like given up on love, and then this new woman comes to start working in, she is a paramedic and he is a firefighter, and they're kind of working together. And it turns out though she is his best friend's, what did it say here? His best friend's recently divorced sister. So she is a divorcee, and I guess she has no interest in falling in love again either. But of course, romance is going to ensue between them. I think this one sounds delightful. Again, first responders. I am very, very interested in reading stories about them for sure. So this is definitely one that is going on my list to read. For this next book, I couldn't help myself. For the Harlequin Presents line is A Shocking Proposal in Sicily by Rachael Thomas. And I couldn't help myself. Picture it, Sicily. For those of you who have not watched The Golden Girls, do yourself a favor and watch The Golden Girls. Sophia, of course. When I heard it was like it took place in Sicily, that's all that was in my head was Estelle Getty going, picture it, Sicily. Anyway, this is about a woman who needs a husband. Don't we all? No, I'm just kidding. You don't need a man. That's a completely different kind of romance novel. But anyway, she needs a husband to help save her family's business from financial ruin. So she proposes to this billionaire, as one does, and he actually agrees to marry her. So again, I think it's one of those in name only kind of marriages that of course turns into something more. Sounds really cute. I mean, a lot of these Presents books, as I like to say, are very similar. Secret babies, marriages of convenience, forced proximity. Pretty much every romance trope you could possibly think of are in the Presents line, which is why I've always kind of not steered clear of them, but they're not my favorite to pick up. But this one does sound fun. The fact it takes place in Italy. That's the one thing I do love about the Presents line, is they tend to take place in a lot of foreign locations, which is really fun and often deal with very wealthy people. So it really truly is an escape from reality in a way. But yeah, this one sounds like fun, and I think Sophia and I would definitely approve. Next is a Harlequin romance novel, and this is His Convenient New York Bride by Andrea Bolter. So this is about a woman who is, again, much like the other one, looking to save her empire, her personal, she is a fashion designer, and her business is not doing that well. So her brother's best friend, who just happens to be a millionaire, you know, is offering her, again, marriage on paper. It will help him out, I guess, getting family off of his back from asking him, you know, are you going to get married soon? Are you seeing anybody? Yada, yada, yada. And help her, you know, save this empire, save her business. So it looks really cute. It takes place in New York. I'm a sucker for stories in New York. There's just something about that city that really appeals to me. I think it appeals to a lot of people. And the fact that she's a fashion designer, but she's also holding a secret that he doesn't know about. So that's going to come out later on. Sounds delightful, and definitely one that I would like to check out. Next, we have a romantic suspense novel, and this is Stalked in Conard County by Rachael Lee. This is book, like 100 million in the Conard County, the Next Generation series. No, seriously, it's book 41, you guys. 41. And it is book number 61 in the Conard County series, just on its own. So there's offshot series from the main series. But yeah, Rachael Lee, this is pretty much all that she writes. Are these Conard County books, and this one, I love her writing. These are definitely ones that you can pick and choose from, you know, pick up this one here, this one there. It's not going to make any difference. They can all be read as standalones, but this one sounded really interesting to me. It's about a woman who, one day, I guess, at night, she wakes up or something, and there's a peeping Tom in her window, and it gives her flashbacks from when she was a young child and was actually kidnapped. So now she has, who is he? Oh, he's just a cowboy. I thought maybe that he was like FBI or a cop or a sheriff or something. But he's her childhood best friend, and he's the only one who believes her that she did have this peeping Tom. So he's going to kind of help protect her, and the story will go from there. Sounds adorable. I really, really like the idea of this, that it's something from her childhood that she's having, you know, flashbacks on. Is this from her childhood, or is this a new threat? I'm totally interested in finding out. Sounds really interesting. Again, Rachael Lee, fantastic. These books are absolutely great, and you need to check them out. Next up, we have a special edition novel, and this is Reluctant Hometown Hero by Heatherly Belle. This is book number 2 in the Wildfire Ridge series. So this is about a man by the name of Ryan, who is a former Army officer. And he's kind of not really enjoying the fact that he's back home and he's now the new sheriff in town. He has a lot of pressure on him. He's really in the spotlight because he was a hero, I guess, overseas, and he doesn't like kind of being thrust in the spotlight. He just wants to do his job, and he's going to do his job regardless if he enjoys it or not. And part of that job, as it says on the back, is helping our female lead in this story, what is her name? Zoe, find a missing dog. Delightful. So he kind of, you know, in helping her find this dog, he kind of thinks she's cute, and he like asks her out. And she turns him down because she doesn't want to be in the spotlight like he is. You know, she wants to be able to go to dinner with some guy and not have random people in town coming up and congratulating him or thanking him for his service. She just kind of wants to be like on the down low. So he's going to have to try and win her over, and I think that sounds utterly delightful. And of course it involves a dog. I mean, hello, look at that cover. So yeah, this one sounds super fantastic and an absolutely delightful read. Next we have a love-inspired novel, and if you guys have been watching me for a while, you know exactly why this book got picked. Next up, Her Secret Alaskan Family by Belle Calhoune, Book number 1 in the Home to Owl Creek series. This is about a woman who, as an infant or a baby, was kidnapped from her family and raised by a completely different family. Now that she's an adult, she found out who she is, and she's returning home because her birth family has a chocolate empire in Alaska. I'm like, hello, yes please. But nobody in town except for, who is it? The local sheriff is the only one who knows her true identity. So she's back in town and no one knows who she is. And I'm curious, does her family know who she is? Is she going to introduce herself back to her family? How's this all going to work out? Totally intrigued. Takes place in Alaska. Chocolate Empire? Yes, please. Definitely this is one I would have to read. And last but not least, we have a love-inspired suspense novel. And this is Trained to Defend by Christy Barritt. This is book number 1 in the Canine Mountain Guardian series. So these canine series from Harlequin, over the last few years, it looks like they put it like one series a year. Last year was the True Blue, which were the ones that were in New York City. It sounds like these are like search and rescue dogs, like mountain dogs, essentially. So in this story, our main character's name is Sarah, and she is on the run from a killer. And she takes off with her, what does it say here? Her boss's loyal husky named Buzz. And the two of them, I guess, are in the woods running from this killer, or they're lost in the woods or something. So people are searching for them, like the police are searching for them, but on the same time, this killer is also searching for them. So very intrigued. I do really enjoy these canine unit stories. I joke around all the time. I love my cats. My cats are, they're part of the family. But I do not have a problem with dogs. I like dogs a lot. And that's why I enjoy reading so much about them. So, yeah, cats would never have any interest doing anything at all like that. You definitely would need dogs for this. But yeah, I really do enjoy these canine unit stories, and I think this one would just be a delight to read. So anyway, guys, that is all that I have for this video. I do hope that you enjoyed it. Please, again, let me know in the comment section below. Pick me a book that you want me to read in January, and let me know, are you interested in reading along with me? Let me know that too, and I will announce when I do my TBR in a week or so. I will announce which book it was that won. So definitely stay tuned for that. And until my next video, everybody, take care and happy reading. Thank you all so much for watching. Bye, guys.